And we're in. Again.
Yay.
Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello and welcome to the show.
And Smizmars. Futurama reference.
Yes.
Welcome to Hindsight is Horrifying. We are back again, once more, doing this thing that we do.
Once more under the breach.
Yeah, I don't know why we do it, but we do it.
It's good to be here.
It's fun most of the time.
Yeah, it's
a
what a
house.
deflated
Once a week.
That's true.
God. Okay.
It's court appointed.
So, Hindsighters, welcome back to the show. Before we get kicked off with this particular episode, we have to give a dedication.
Yes.
We don't do this every episode, but Jason, why don't you tell us about this dedication for your friend?
This episode is going to be dedicated to an old friend of mine named Jason Hatfield, college friend. Known him for 25 years.
As long as I've been alive.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Since your first
I think you weren't even
birthday,
driving then.
No, I was not.
Jason Hatfield, good guy, wonderful human being, 44 years old, passed away very suddenly. We send our condolences out to his family. Had a beautiful family, wife and 4 kids. We're going to put a link in the show notes, and I'll put something at the end of the show. The family has established a fund, a scholarship fund for the children.
That's good.
Yeah, they're very young, but there's 4 of them, so it's a big financial burden on them. So if anybody would love to or like to, we would sincerely appreciate you donating. Like I said, we'll put that up there. I might have a link right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be in the show notes one way or the other.
It's going to be either PayPal or Patreon or something like that. So, so this episode dedicated to you, Jason Hatfield. Happy trails, my friend. We're definitely going to miss you. But on with the show.
Yes. So this week we are covering a Mr. Brown pick. And what movie would that be, Mr. Brown?
Well, the film this week is called Network, 1976. If you haven't seen it, you must watch it. It's timeless.
It is. It's actually,
timeless.
It's a movie that is more relevant with each passing day.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just the power of the media.
Yeah. And the cast.
Oh.
Yeah, Faye Dunaway just absolutely steals the show in this movie. She's fantastic.
William Holden. Peter Finch.
Your friend Bill.
Who was the first posthumous Academy Award winner.
Really?
And
yes. The second was the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Heath Ledger, yeah. Yeah, this is just one of those fantastic 1970s new school pieces of cinema. The way it's shot, the way it's written, everything about it, and of course the director.
There's young James Woods. No, I'm just kidding. It's a guy who looks like James Woods.
Did say really?
No, he's not in this movie.
Are you sure it's not Lance Hendricks? Because he is in it somewhere. We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Yeah. But tell us a little bit about the movie.
Go ahead and read the synopsis.
Yes, so in this lauded satire, veteran news anchorman Howard Beale, Peter Finch, discovers that he's being put out to pasture, and he's none too happy about it. After threatening to shoot himself on live television, instead he launches into an angry televised rant, which turns out to be a huge rating boost for the UBS network. This stunt allows ambitious producer Diana Faye Dunaway to develop even more outrageous programming, a concept that she takes to unsettling extremes.
Yeah, it's weird. This movie was supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, but it was originally satire, but like
yeah, it's not a comedy.
It's not.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, and I know that satire can be serious as well, but like it's not funny. No.
Yeah, the original concept of it was that it was going to be a comedy, and then I don't know if Sidney Lumet's influence moved it away. Yeah. I don't know if he moved it away because of course Sidney Lumet directed 12 Angry Men and Hospital, a great movie that no one has seen. George C. Scott and Diana Rigg. If you ever get a chance to watch Hospital, really good movie.
I've never even heard of it, so
No one
yeah,
has.
I'll have to check it out.
Apparently, is
it
not. It doesn't make hospitals look very good.
No, it does not.
When
No.
I think I heard when Sidney got sick, he was afraid of being taken to the hospital for fear that the doctors may have seen the movie and will, leave a glove inside him or something.
That's a good point. You don't want to direct a movie about.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny because even to this day, programs like Scrubs versus, say, Grey's Anatomy, my nurse friends all tell me that Scrubs is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And there was actually on one of the episodes, Turk left something in one of his patients when he was operating on them. So I think that does happen.
Oh,
on
yeah.
occasion.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
frightening to think
More
about.
than you'd like to think.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Spalding Gray. He in Grey's Anatomy, one of the reasons he didn't want to go to a hospital to get surgery was because he knew a girl who was dating a doctor, an obstetrician, who had access to liquid cocaine.
Oh,
so
God.
he and the nurse would go off somewhere, get stoned, have sex. His pager would go off in the middle. He would get up with an erection and go deliver a baby.
What?
Yeah. He didn't want to go in, and I can understand that.
Oh my God, that's so terrifying to think about. Anyway, so why is it that you picked this movie, Adam?
Mainly because I'm mad as hell, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to take it anymore, really. And if
Yeah.
you heard your parents ever say that, it is from Network. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And that is such a classic line from this film.
I've actually heard you say that quite a few times at this point.
And,
so.
and did you know where it was from?
Not the first time you said it, no. But when you said it the other night when we were attending a Zoom reading, I heard you say it, and I was like, oh, he's quoting Network again.
Yes, Howard Beale. It's interesting because it talks about the power of the media and how large corporations own the media. And if you own the media, you own people's minds.
Yeah.
And this was 1976. And there was a lot of interesting things going on. There used to be a firewall between the networks and the news agency.
Okay.
And the news agency was not supposed to make money.
Yeah, it was known it was going to lose money.
It was guaranteed to be lost. And the reason they set it up that way is so that it wouldn't be sensationalized.
Right.
Right.
You get on, you read the news, you let other people draw their own opinions, and it was 1-2 hours a night.
Yeah.
There was something called journalistic integrity and objectivity, words that don't exist in that industry
it was
anymore.
before the, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yep.
Idea, which had infected print media. Print newspapers had that for years.
The yellow journalism
Yeah.
and all that, yeah.
But TV and, before that radio, they had this sort of air of, if Uncle Walter says it, it must be true.
Well, and he had that trustworthy. People really. It's like you said, Uncle Walter. They trusted this guy. He had that avuncular quality where they knew that.
I love that word.
Avuncular.
I love that word.
Good. I'm glad I used it then. But he had
Sounds
that.
like carbuncle, but they're two different things.
They are very different things. Yes. But yeah, to this day, it's kind of like the movie mentality. Oh, is Tom Cruise? Has he got a new picture out? I'll go see it if Tom Cruise is in it. If Walter Cronkite said it, it must be true.
Well, growing up, Tom Brokaw. I watched Tom Brokaw with my parents every single night. And it was just, 30 minutes and you knew what's going on in the world.
And then you moved on.
To
entertainment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But remember when that breaking news thing would happen when you were watching TV.
Explain this to some of the younger hindsighters.
That is true. There's probably a lot of people who have no idea what that is.
Young Adam is shaking his head right now. He has no
What is
idea
he
what's
talking
going on.
about?
Yeah. Watching live over the air TV on cable or over your antenna.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching, Magnum PI, and all of a sudden the screen goes black, and then this Chiron comes, which is a thing with words on the screen.
You're confusing people again.
Yeah,
Big words.
Yeah, and here's Tom Brokaw, and he's putting his tie on because he just sat down in front of the camera, and you knew something happened that was important enough for them to interrupt Magnum,
A very popular
or some,
show.
Yeah. And it was frequently something like, I remember when Princess Diana died.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of them. There were tons. There's all,
The Bronco
Space
chase.
shuttle.
Yeah, the Bronco chase. Yeah, the space shuttle. Yeah.
The Challenger.
Because that's one of my first memories of television, actually, is the O.J. Simpson Bronco chase.
Yeah.
We were sitting in our old house, and my dad was in the rocking chair. I was sitting between his feet, and that's one of the first memories I have of watching television is watching O.J. go a mile an hour down the freeway.
It was with your dad, you said?
He was there with my mom and my dad were there.
Okay, yeah, because did you ask what was going on?
No,
and then did your dad say OJ's looking for the real killer?
Oh my God,
that's what's going
I found
on.
The real killer, bitch! Get over here.
Is that a Hertz rental car he's in? It better be.
But it was.
Bronco.
I was of such an age that
what was his friend's name?
Al Cowling.
Al Cowling. That's it.
Cowling.
Yeah.
But do you understand the Hertz rental car reference?
No.
O.J. Simpson was the face of Hertz Rental. He was the superstar of rental car. He'd
And
be running through the airport.
Yeah.
Running through the airport. Now, Isotoner was...
the gloves.
Yeah,
right?
but he was the football player.
Which is irony in and
Yeah.
of itself.
who was that? No, it wasn't O.J. Simpson for Isotoner.
It's almost like if Joe Namath strangled somebody with slingshot briefs.
Oh my God! Wait, OJ wasn't the isotoner?
No, who was oh my gosh, it's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh, Dan Marino.
Dan Marino.
He was the isotoner.
So easy to mix up
Yeah.
with OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
Not sure.
They're
how I
very
did that.
similar. They're very similar.
They both played football,
Yeah.
and aside from that,
I love Dan Marino in Naked Gun. That was
When he jumps into the bear trap and
Yeah.
he falls in the water.
yeah.
But we digress. So
Yes.
I thought this picture was brilliant from start to finish.
I agree.
And chilling. And okay, the reason was Ned Beatty died. And when I thought of Ned Beatty, I thought of Network, because Ned Beatty was nominated for an Academy Award, and his performance was less than 3 minutes.
It's incredible.
3 minutes, but it was powerful.
Yeah.
And frightening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Well,
it
why
was
don't
like
you
religious. I mean, it has this like demonic
He's at long
quality.
table.
Yeah.
And little, Howard Beale is sitting at the other side, and he just reads him the riot act.
Now, one thing to pay attention, the way Sidney Lumet shot the movie was in the beginning, it's shot in a very cinematic style. It's shot like a movie. Mm-hmm. But as the movie progresses, he makes the way the movie is shot more commercial until the end of the movie, where he literally filmed everything like he was filming a TV commercial.
Huh.
And it was because he said that the camera was the victim of the corporate mentality also. So the way everything you're seeing morphs,
profound.
it morphs into just it's a TV commercial at the end. But very subtle. But that's stuff that you don't get that nowadays. You really don't.
No, you have to grab the audience now in the first 15 seconds with explosions, gunshots, and all that stuff.
Well, how do you think Michael Bay stays in business, gentlemen?
No.
Come on.
Yeah.
And Conchita, what's her name? This woman here from 2.5 Men.
Oh yeah. She's what is she? The secretary?
No, she's one of the creatives.
Is she one of the execs?
You can tell how much research we do before we.
No, well,
go
I've
to
got
these
so
shows.
many different articles that I pull up during these episodes. I don't have her pulled up right
actually, I do have a request for you to pull up something because, I had the name memorized before the show, and now I've forgotten it.
now. Okay, so
The name of the woman who, in a certain way, sort of inspired this movie, although
Conchata Ferrell is who you were thinking about.
Conchata. Yes.
Inspired.
there was actually an incident about 2 years before this where an anchor, a news presenter in Florida, I think in Tallahassee, killed herself on air.
Right.
Literally shot herself on air. And there was originally supposed to be a line.
Christine Chubbuck.
That's it,
That's
Christine
the one,
Chubbuck,
yeah.
She was only 29 when she died?
Yeah.
Dear God.
There was supposed to be a line in this movie where Beale was supposed to say, they're going to kill me like that woman in Florida. And
Oh my God.
ironically, the line was deleted, and I don't think it was deleted by Sidney Lumet. I think it was deleted by corporate.
By Ned Beatty.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's corporate. He's the corporate head.
Yeah, the Ned Beatty character, somebody said, no, we're not doing that. And of course, now everyone says, no, this movie has nothing to do with that, even though it's pretty clear that was the inspiration. But let's talk about, I keep wanting to say Holly Hunter, but that's broadcast news. I know.
I'm going to be like Holly Hunter in broadcast news.
I know.
I've got a nose for news.
I kept thinking that the entire time.
Well, that's why
Paranormal activity.
That's why I'm going to wear a green jacket when we start using our green screen.
That's true.
For
That's true.
some upcoming projects that we've got coming down the
Yes.
pipe for you, hindsighters. Get excited. But yeah, it'll look like I have a floating head. It's going to be great. But yeah, that was, you just wanted to know the anchor's
I couldn't.
name?
I couldn't remember
Okay.
her name. Yeah.
Okay.
She also played Bonnie in Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. Well, Faye Dunaway did not.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was about to say
Not Christine
Christine.
Stewart.
I'm still in Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway, who was in Towering Inferno
So was everybody. So was O.J. Simpson.
with what? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's, Chris Cross.
And not Christopher
Chris
Cross was not in.
No.
He's a musician.
But who else was in?
I just know.
Steve McQueen.
No. Who was in this movie also?
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
Who
And
hasn't
apparently
aged
Ro-
a day since 1976.
No.
He looks exactly the same.
Old Robert Duvall, young Robert Duvall.
He and Clint Eastwood have that rare gene where they've looked the same age for the last 40 years. I don't know how they do that.
Apparently, though, it was a bit of a sticking point because Robert Duvall and Faye Dunaway hated each other.
Oh, really?
And
Why?
Well, apparently on the set of Towering Inferno, Faye Dunaway would just leave the set and go take a phone call or just go do something. And Robert Duvall apparently, after waiting, 2 hours to get a take in, grabbed her and threw her against a wall and said, "If you ever do that to me again, I'm going to put your ass through this fucking wall."
Whoa.
And yet, here they are again. It's like Jack
When
Lemmon
was-
and Walter Matthau.
When was the Towering Inferno?
I'm not looking it up. I'm in the middle of a different article.
slightly earlier 70s, I'm assuming.
It was. Okay. I thought it was after, but
That guy looks just like Denham Elliott.
you're right.
He looks like Brody.
Peter Finch, you mean?
Peter
the
Finch. Yeah,
newscaster.
who was Australian.
Yes.
Wow.
Apparently, Peter Finch, whenever he got the script, he read the script, and I think the writer had wanted, everyone. He had this big, long list of people that he wanted to be Beale, and everyone said no. And
You know who was supposed to be Howard Beale, apparently?
who?
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Yeah, he was one of them. Hackman would have been great.
Oh, my God.
No, he wanted like Cary Grant. Cary Grant would have been interesting, I think. But whenever Finch got the script, he read it and he loved it so much that he booked his own flight from Australia to Los Angeles or to New York, wherever they did the audition.
New York City.
Because he basically was like, this movie, this is it, this is perfect. And it ended up sort of being
His swan song.
Yeah, the swan song. Yeah, the capstone, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to Faye Dunaway for a second, apparently she was almost fired from this movie.
There you go.
A director, Sidney Lumet, considered firing Dunaway, who struggled with the meaty monologues more than anyone else. The producer said that the director had the studio's permission to fire her if circumstances required. She eventually took home an Oscar for Best Actress in the meantime.
That's the thing. You can't plan for stuff like that.
It just happens.
Yeah, that's just movie magic. It on the set, everybody's like, "Oh God, she's tanking it," and then it comes. Yes.
Oh no, I'm just reading more interesting facts that I'll bring up in a minute.
Okay, well, no, go for it. Go for it.
But Duvall apparently went pretty method. He cracked a window and was screaming in pretty primal faction. So they were a little worried about Duvall going overboard.
Well, Finch, he watched hours and hours of American news broadcasts.
And apparently Peter Finch died in Sidney Lumet's arms.
Did he?
That's what it
Oh,
says.
Lord.
It says the first actor to win the Oscar posthumously, which you mentioned off camera, Mr. Brown. Over the next 36 years, only one other, Heath Ledger, has done the same. On the morning of a long day of scheduled talk show appearances in 1977, director Lumet bore witness in the lobby of the Beverly Hills Hotel to the heart attack that led to Finch's death.
Jeez.
Yeah, so the man, a lot of poignant
yeah. A lot of
moments
heaviness
attached
to
to this
this.
movie. God.
Well, it's funny, great movies frequently either kill or almost kill, Cecil B. DeMille, Ten Commandments. I mean, he had a heart attack while filming it and basically said, slap a Band-Aid on me, I'm finishing this movie. I don't care if it kills me.
Oh.
DeMille was an odd fellow, though. So,
Martin Sheen, Apocalypse Now.
Oh yeah,
he died. Yeah. They brought him back to life.
Yes.
In real life, he really did.
Well, also
had a heart attack.
Did he actually? Was clinically dead?
For a couple minutes before they brought him back to life again.
I did not know this.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, in fact, the scene where he's punching the glass, that blood is really his blood all over his
It's funny
hands.
how often that happens, because I know it's a popular example right now, but Leo DiCaprio did the same thing in Django Unchained. He smashed a glass or something on a table and just ripped his hand open.
Citizen Kane.
And kept going with the scene.
Yeah, Orson Welles, whenever he fucks that room up.
I didn't know where that was going for a split second.
He's bleeding, and that's real. Orson Welles, when he fucked that room up real good and good enough to get some blood out of him. So
Got it.
Today's Hollywood actors, you're all cupcakes.
Oh yes,
My dear
it's
boy.
all green screen.
Yeah.
Well, they listened to Olivier when he said, "My dear boy, why don't you simply try acting?"
Yeah.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman, calm the hell down.
Aww. I don't really have much else to say at this point.
Let's go. Why don't we wrap it up? Take it home. Take it home, Jay.
I mean, it's such a perfect piece of cinema. You know,
it really
we can't
is.
make fun of it.
It's hard.
No,
yeah,
no.
You
I
really
mean,
can't.
But it does. It's so reflective of today's culture, like you were saying, Adam. One of the lines I wrote down was, "The American people want somebody to articulate their rage for them," and that gets taken way too far on this show, where you're in this movie rather, where Faye Dunaway's character just starts abusing that concept.
Yeah,
and that's where
she goes crazy.
Oh, she goes completely batshit.
Totally fucking crazy.
Yeah,
but it's that corporate crazy, where you're not ranting and raving so much as you have no scruples anymore.
You're posturing for the next dollar.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And that's where Finch, she says, "I just ran out of bullshit. I don't have any bullshit left. I just ran out of it." You see, like that's.
Well, I think Lumet said something like, it might not have been Lumet. It might have been the writer. It was like, if the people are mad, they want to watch things that are mad. If they're happy, they want to watch things that are happy. So it's sort of like, don't judge 50s TV because it was like, oh, everything's great on TV. No, that's what people wanted, because their lives were basically like, yeah, everything's fine. And then in the 70s, you've got Vietnam's over, but you've still got the aftershocks. You got Watergate, you've got the Church Commission, you've got, you're only, 7 years past Martin Luther King and Bobby.
Right.
Bobby Kennedy being assassinated. So the people are just absolutely bitter. And economically, in 1976, the wheels have completely fallen off the bus. Stagflation,
Yeah.
It's very Fahrenheit 451, that famous part of the book where everybody's so disenfranchised and they're so dumbed down and ridiculous that even their television program, and kind of like what you're saying, Jason, is they're watching a program, because I remember I had to read this scene out loud in school. They're sitting there watching a program at home in their living room, and the people on the TV are going, "I'm so mad," and you never find out why the characters are mad. There's no substance to it. It's just, well, why are you mad, Stan? I'm just so damn mad.
Yeah, it's decontextualized rage.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's what this movie is. It's all about human wrath.
Yeah.
And how people want that reflected.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, you have this 1976 vibe
Conchata.
of everything is going to hell in a handbasket. And people were legitimately saying, I don't want to take this anymore. Like, I want to do something. I want to get rid of whatever it is that's not working. I don't know what I'm supposed to replace it with, but I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a zeitgeisty movie in that respect.
Interesting. And I can't remember who said it, but I wrote it down. It said, I think it was Finch, where he's like, I don't know, maybe I'll teach or write a book now that I'm not on television anymore. And it's like, are those the fallback careers?
Right, yeah.
Is that a dismal fate for you? Because those are both fine accomplishments in my world.
For him, that is a dismal fate, because he's in the industry where you're constantly chasing the brass ring. Like
That makes sense.
The only way you ever get the brass ring is if you're literally the number one person in what, if you're Walter Cronkite, you got the brass ring. Everybody else is still trying to get it.
Because he's the latter-day prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a lot of interpretive ways you can look at this movie where you can just say, okay, compare that to where we are now. What are the lessons that we can draw from this movie?
That sleeping your way to the top is apparently a legitimate process.
Always has been.
It has since the dawn of man and women.
Yeah.
Yes.
And who is it that she's sleeping with? Faye Dunaway? I can't remember the character's name.
Max Schumacher?
Yeah.
The executive?
But
Bill Holden?
Even when he knows, because he finally approaches his wife, who he's been cheating on this entire time, and he tells her that he's leaving her and that he's going to go with this younger woman that he's been cheating with, and she's like, she's going to be the end of you, right? She's going to ruin your life. And he's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And he's okay with it. That blew my mind.
It's pure fatalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's pure drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as he said, his whole life became a 3-act TV program.
Yeah.
Now we're entering the 3rd act.
Yeah.
And he just maps it all out.
It's so on. Yeah, it's so absolutely spot on. And this, if you look at the movies that were coming out at this time, there was this sort of counterculture, I use the term the new school, which a lot of people disagree with because new school is sort of a Robert Evans term. And of course, if you ever watch that documentary, he takes credit for every movie that was made in the 70s.
I wrote Cobra, the book.
It's a great documentary. If you ever get a chance to watch The Kid Stays in the Picture, totally worth watching. It's really awesome. But the thing with the whole new school thing was that you got this different take on human life, and it was really heavily influenced by New York theater. Because you had New York theater that, as New York got grittier and grittier, the theater became grittier and grittier. And then that sort of leapt off the stage, and you end up with Marathon Man or The Graduate. There was all these movies that came out at that time that they didn't have that same vibe to it that movies had had 5 or 6 years before. You weren't getting the 10 Commandments. You weren't getting, late 60s movies.
Ben-Hur.
Those epic films went to the
Yeah.
wayside for a little while.
Yeah. And I think this is a good example of that because it's just this entire movie is seedy underbelly,
Yes.
and it's expose.
Yeah.
And it is satire. It's not funny, but it is satire.
Well, one thing that is funny is that apparently Peter Finch got the part by reading a newspaper. Because when Lumet was making the movie, he was convinced he needed an American actor to play the news anchor. Finch, though a fine actor, was inconveniently British to prove to Lumet that he could get the accent.
I thought he was Australian.
It says British in the article. I thought he was Australian too because that's the relevance to him and Heath Ledger is that they're both Australian actors who posthumously.
Well, all the Australians started out as
That's
British.
true.
Until they committed that fateful crime.
Well, we started out as British too.
He recognized the authority of the Queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
He threw some tea and some water and called it a day. I mean, Mel Gibson used to be Australian. Lumet, to convince Lumet that he could get the accent right, apparently Finch recorded himself reading an entire issue of the New York Times. Yeah.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you that part in the feature film.
And of course, he couldn't email it to him. He had to put the tapes in the mail and send it. I think that's one of the things I love about watching movies from this era is the stuff that was technology when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Even just in the newsroom, the teletype machines. I remember going to my dad's office and they had the telex machine.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me was just the coolest thing in the world. Because it was like all of a sudden it would come alive and it would just print and what is it? What's coming out? You have
news.
Yeah, you have no idea. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, and apparently most of this movie was shot in Canada. I wasn't.
It was in Toronto.
Yeah, and they couldn't get a studio for Peter Finch to read the news that would actually shut down for him for the 2 weeks that they needed in order to film it.
Yeah, they there was some. I know that they went to United Artists.
Hold on, you see this guy right here?
Yeah.
I was talking. It's like, where did I see him? Where did I see him? He played in Red Dawn. He was the mayor of the town. Do you remember in the first Red Dawn? His son was the one that sold out.
What do you mean the first Red Dawn?
Well, there was
no, there isn't.
Okay.
No, there isn't. There is only one Red Dawn.
Was C. Thomas Howell, right?
Shade thrown.
Yeah.
Oof. I was getting hot in here for a moment.
He looks like
but he looks like one of Callahan's partners or something, right?
Yeah, he does. I was thinking he looks like oh God, who was that talk show host?
That guy.
that slime ball
You're not talking about
Carson Daly?
No, Downey?
Yes, Morton Downey Jr. He looks like Morton Downey Jr.
He's got the big mouth.
Yeah. You have no idea who that is, do you?
I feel like I should.
No,
you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't.
He was a phenomenon, and then he died of cancer because he smoked all the time.
All the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I started to interrupt, guys, but apparently the writer's ideal cast included Walter Matthau, Candice Bergen, and Cary Grant. So you mentioned Cary Grant.
I mentioned Cary
we heard
Grant,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, apparently...
I can see Candice Bergen.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally see Candice Bergen.
100%. But yeah, Walter Matthau apparently was one of the first choices for... Yeah.
I could see that.
Young Walter Matthau before they remade Grumpy Old Man with Jack Lemmon.
He could do it.
Well, I mean, this was back when, Walter Matthau was still doing, pretty good drama stuff.
He was on
too,
Jim Rockford kind of fame, I would say.
That's what this movie needs.
Jim Rockford.
Not Jim Rockford, James Garner.
Yeah.
So easy to get mixed up. Just like O.J. Simpson and Dan Marino.
So we do have to take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we will catch up everybody in the audience as far as what's going on in the movie at this point.
Yes.
So we will be back in about one second. And we are back with an urgent correction. In the 1 second we were away.
Darth did some expansive research.
Has humiliated me.
You're the dumbest boy in school, Jason. Well, because you were talking earlier about the fact
I'm
that...
going to blow my brains.
live
on the
podcast.
But we don't do it live, though, so it would be taped.
Yeah.
And I edit it, so it would be inconvenient.
And I actually manage the building where we record, so I'd have to clean up after all that. So please don't do it here.
No, you'd have to find the contractor to clean it.
You'd
have to call ServPro.
Who can remove bloodstains and?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Okay, we should do a challenge.
Then you can finally meet the ghost who haunts our studio.
Yeah, that's true. We should do a challenge. Who amongst us? Or actually, I'll issue the challenge. Which of you is brave enough? Call ServPro and just ask them the price for cleaning up a dead body. And just see what they say. Just get a quote.
I sadly know the answer.
Well, there are companies. I had a friend who did that for a living.
Really?
Yeah, he would go and
killed
clean
himself
up
for a living.
No, he would just go in after someone blew their brains out and there was body parts all over the place. They'd take the body away and he'd have to scrub up all the blood.
He was the guy.
He was the dude. Apparently, if you're willing to do it, they'll pay you.
I was about to say it's probably pretty pricey. Yeah. I mean,
he did okay.
It's not cheap because I won't get into the details of it, but
I'll clean any crime scene for $29.95.
Are we recording?
We are recording. We're in. Yeah,
that's why I don't want to get into the details of this. It's a very personal thing. So anyway, so Jason, you're the dumbest boy in school.
I know.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
It's not Robert Duvall who hated Faye Dunaway. It was actually Bill Holden.
Okay. So Bill Holden is the one who threw her against the wall.
Now I'll tell you,
threatened to.
I'll tell you why it wasn't reconciling in my head. Because Robert Duvall and Faye Dunaway were probably peers.
Yeah.
Maybe Faye was even a little higher up. So I'm sure that Duvall was... he was more mellow, whereas William Holden, he's an icon.
Well, and the age difference can be polarizing depending on, the nature of the relationship. Like Patrick Swayze didn't get along with Jennifer Grey. He thought she was too
really?
in Dirty Dancing. Like he thought she was too immature to be the role. It's like she's a 16-year-old. Like what? What? And you're like 20.
Baby?
Yeah. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Oh, yeah. Baby's real immature.
Nobody throws baby through a wall.
Yeah.
But so Network's romantic subplot with the middle-aged and married Schumacher falling in love with the much younger Diana would be tricky to pull off anyway. Making it riskier was the fact that Holden loathed Dunaway for her behavior on the set of The Towering Inferno, in which they had
Grudge
both
fuck.
appeared. So,
I don't think he loved her really.
No, it was a grudge fuck. Yeah.
I mean, she's young, she's hot, she's feisty.
Look at that.
What
Everyone's
else does it take,
smoking.
gentlemen?
Everyone's smoking.
Can you smell that room?
I mean, I
It's the
look.
70s.
It was the 70s. I mean, if I had a time machine and I went back, even knowing what I know, I'd have to smoke. I mean,
Well, you would have to. Everyone else did.
that's true. Yeah.
You were weird
If you didn't smoke,
did not
yeah.
smoke. What's wrong with you?
Pansy. Yeah. You don't want to smoke? Ugh.
Take a look.
It puts hair on your chest, boy. Come on.
And that wonderful food, 1970s restaurants that they weren't very good.
But knowing how Schumacher felt about her in real life now, about Faye Dunaway, it's so funny because when they're having supper together, he's just concentrating on her so intently, and you think that it's because he's sexually interested in her.
Yeah,
but
I know.
now you have to wonder, it's like, oh, was he just thinking about setting her on fire?
Yeah.
I could club you to death.
Because they say there's a fine line between love and hate. So.
But isn't it so weird, though, that somebody can be such an icon and not that many years later, really, go out and ask people who Bill Holden is?
Oh, well,
No one.
That's life.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just, it's so fickle.
It is.
It is. One thing I wanted to mention before I was shamed,
You know,
and I'm not going to blow my brains out. It'll be seppuku.
You've always said that.
if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right.
Do it right. Yeah. Do it like a hipster would do it.
Carry
No,
that samurai sword.
I have one.
I know
So,
you do.
yeah.
If I ever see it in our office, Jason, I'll know.
No, but one of the things I was thinking during the break, trying to sort of compare the environment in the movie to today, and I was trying to think, where does social media fit in? And I think one thing about this movie, the whole Beale giving everybody this outlet, opening their windows and yelling, "I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore." People today don't realize that back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, you couldn't be a part of news.
No.
You couldn't go and start tweeting and then have a public presence.
Have armchair activists, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's interesting how Beale sort of gives people this ability that they hadn't had and wouldn't again have until social media to open their windows up and scream, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." That's really what social media is.
But the problem is the difference of motivation behind yelling, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore."
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah, totally.
For instance, the reason why people were doing that for Beale is because they trusted him, and like he was honestly reflecting their rage, as opposed to because that sense of trust has been replaced with a sense of laziness. Because now people will post vitriol and yell at podcasters they've never met, even though they don't necessarily click on the article and find out whether or not what they're angry about is even true to begin with.
They've done studies where people. It's a known fact that you'll say things on social media you would never say in public.
Right.
Despite how overtly public social media is, it's
Right, but
It's a faceless public.
yeah. But they've actually shown that people will say to literally their next door neighbor on social media things that they won't say to their next door neighbor in person. They'll literally have a different relationship with the online next door neighbor than they have with the IRL next door neighbor.
IRL.
I know my shit.
No, I'm not for somebody who doesn't get on social media that often. But it's funny you say that, Jason, because it's just a completely different culture. Like when we were growing up, our bullies couldn't they had to physically follow us home from school if they wanted to bother us. Now, kids are getting on Facebook and being bullied and fat shamed and a million other things in the privacy of their home, which should be their sanctuary.
Yeah.
So that anger...
That was always the rule. Home is safe.
Yeah,
home
exactly.
is safe.
Run home.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No.
Like, you just have to...
I think there's an interesting shift in that dynamic that's happening, though, because I have an 11-year-old. And so I'll always ask...
Wait, you have a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I'll ask him questions about not just what he's going through, but like, hey, what are your friends? Like, what are you guys into? What kind of toys do you play with? What games do you play?
Yeah.
And we talk about social media, and it's interesting because he and his friends, they use social media, they consume it, but they don't give a shit about what people say on it.
Well,
like,
I think that's an evolutionary, I think that's great because honestly, I was talking to a coworker the other day who was talking about how her teenage daughter fell into a pretty serious bout of depression because of what she was seeing on social media, how she was being treated on social media, and what she gave her daughter some fantastic advice, which was stop caring.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be able to control what these people do, what they type, any of that. You have to just let it roll off or not acknowledge it at all.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
not
a skill.
It's
like learning to play guitar. It's a skill you've got to develop.
It's a muscle you have to work out.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be like Gina from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You do. You just have to go, I'm awesome, and if you disagree with me, fuck you.
Feel free to hate on me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make fun of you. Don't get me wrong, Simon. But who cares? That was one thing that my dad was fascinated by.
This is probably the most a girl has spoken about him. Ever. So
hello, Simon.
No. Oh God, now we got another one of those.
But no, my dad was fascinated when he heard about our first
He just
stroll.
blammed, by the way.
See, he's one of the ones that would buy the signed aquarium T-shirt if we put it on eBay. But my dad was fascinated with the fact that we had trolls to begin with, and he was like, Jade, hold on, just to make sure I'm understanding this. Some idiot listened to your entire episode, and he's like, and the episodes aren't short, they're at least an hour or so long, right? I said, yes, sir.
Takes commitment.
He was like, so they listened to all of that just to tell you how much they hated it. He was like, you realize you've won. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally realized that.
Especially because I just imagine this guy Simon, sitting naked with a tube sock, listening to it, just repeating drivel over and over.
He's got a
and then he got drivel all over himself.
He's got a Clutch My Pearls shirt.
Yeah,
that's what he's got. Speaking of which, Hindsighters, if you want some merchandise with which to sexually
don't do that. Don't do that.
If you want some merchandise.
And we're cutting over to here.
That is not okay. I was going in a different direction.
Oh,
but okay.
I didn't know. I always take it that way.
Well, no, if you want to buy his suit, he'll sell, make us an offer. And
I'm wearing this suit because this is what professionals used to wear to the office.
He's an anchor man.
Yeah.
Not little whaleys or
Whaleys.
cookie puss.
Of course, he's naked from the waist down.
Those guys at Carmel really know what they're doing. Yeah.
As soon as I left a law firm and I said I'll never wear a tie ever again.
Yeah, I you know what? This is the first tie I've worn in like 4 years because
that's
for
not
a while,
true. No. I've seen you in a tie.
Have you?
It might have been for a stage production, but
Oh, okay.
Well, that
that doesn't count.
That doesn't
okay,
count.
whatever.
not for a business. Like for instance, now it's for show.
I thought you wore one on our "It's a Wonderful Life" episode.
It was for show.
Fine.
Because remember, that's the way people dressed in the 40s.
Yeah,
They wore
like
ties.
Jimmy Stewart. Oh,
Sure, me.
oh man.
That's why I was dressed as Donna Reed.
I was dressed like
I
Violet.
wish.
I only wear dresses like that when I don't care how I look.
Yeah.
F you, Violet.
Oh, Violet. Yes, she was amazing.
That her could stop traffic. My God. Anyway, so we've reached the
Karens used to have, bite to them.
Karens.
Yeah. Karens in the parlance of our time.
No, I understand, but like, where did that come from?
No, when you talk about the sort of bitchy woman from a movie back in the old days, Karens bit your head off.
Oh yeah, they still try to now, but it's mostly devolved into them wanting to talk to your manager.
Now they're like little yappy dogs.
Yeah.
They used to be like Doberman pinchers.
I actually heard it was not an interesting debate, just funny, but where somebody was like, "What's the guy equivalent of Karen?"
I was just about to ask you what your opinion is. There are two options I've heard.
Chad.
Okay, Chad. There's.
Do you know what a Karen is, Mr. Brown?
I know what a Karen is vaguely.
But
you
then,
know.
okay, what like douchey guy name do you know that you would equate?
Stu.
Well, I've heard
on.
Richard.
Could be a Steve or a Stu. No, the Stews are the ones that.
Darren. That's what apparently the kids say.
I would never
Darren?
have guessed Darren.
Darren and Karen.
Well, that
A
makes sense.
Darren and a Karen.
Well,
yeah.
there's a whole.
Darren, if you're listening,
There
we're
are-
sorry.
My brother's
Darren,
name is
can
Darren,
you hear
so.
me? But
You're who?
My brother's name is Darren.
Oh, your brother.
So.
so of course Jason loves that theory.
Yeah, so I love that. Yeah.
But there's an account called Middle Class Fancy on Instagram where it's Rand and Nance, and they do. Rand wears his New Balance sneakers to mow the lawn, and he's got 7 pair. He's got one that's for mowing the lawn, one that's for grilling
Rand.
out, one that's for going out. Like it's ridiculous. And you know, Nance drinks all the Chardonnay, and it's just such stereotypical like waspy bullshit.
Waspy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a word that doesn't get enough play anymore.
No, it really doesn't.
Waspy, yeah.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, for those who aren't familiar with that term.
Yes.
But yeah.
But you know, we mentioned trolls. Why don't you give a shout out to a superfan?
Yes, to bring some balance to the universe. Angel, hello. As always, we love you. And here's the awesomeness that is Angel. He hates the movie Shark Night because it's understandably bad.
Because he's a human being.
But
He walks upright.
Yes, yeah.
yes, he's very smart, so of course he hates that movie.
He's seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so.
you know, he inhales oxygen. So anyway, he let us know on Facebook. So thank you for your support, buddy. As always, we very much appreciate it. He let us know on Facebook that even though he hates Shark Night, he loves hearing the three of us talk about it on our Shark Night episode. So Angel, we love the fact that you interact with us. Please keep doing so. We love talking to you. You're the best. So thank you for tuning in and just being awesome in general.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to pick up that Shark Night theme. My next pick is definitely going to be
Something trash-tastic.
something awful.
Because I see your
Yeah.
point, Jason. This movie is so good that it's difficult.
I know. I just want to sit back and watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm engaged.
Really have to.
Every single line, every performance. I just want to sit and watch.
Every
Okay.
camera angle.
Well,
Yeah.
here's something to talk about. So you guys asked me off camera if Schumacher could really attract a Faye Dunaway. Like,
Oh,
is he?
absolutely.
You think he could?
Oh my
Well, he's
God,
loaded,
yes. Yes.
But she's not after him for his money.
Well, that's true.
Well,
That's
not
true.
just that. There's kind of a father. There are women that have father issues, and then
House of Cards.
yes, and then
I never
And then
watched
when they
the
resolve those issues, you're like, okay, I guess our relationship's over, kind of thing. It's like,
but you help them get
my
there.
dad and I are getting along great now. It's like, oh darn it, I was hoping that we could make something. Of
It's
this.
like Quagmire said, ask
Giggity.
ask your girl if she has what she thinks about her dad, and if she doesn't go on for at least 5 minutes, walk away. And if she does go on for 5 minutes,
I'm the opposite. Like, I could go on for several minutes about my dad because he's so damned awesome. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
we would not talk to you.
no, you're
for
not.
very
You're not.
long.
You're not.
We've lost interest
Yeah,
in you.
you're not a
already, Jay.
Quagmire target. Yeah.
Okay.
You like your dad? Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Later.
So
Bob your head and
and
walk away.
And this is New York City.
Yeah.
You can just say New York.
It was New York. It was the 70s.
Yeah.
They were very liberated.
They were.
There was no diseases that were going to take you out.
That's true.
Back then.
I mean, there were inconvenient diseases.
Yeah, it burned a little bit,
Yeah,
but you got a
that-
shot in the ass and it was
It was
gone.
fine. Yeah. And it was that
It was gritty.
Yeah, that 70s.
A sailor would know.
That decaying New York where people were saying, oh, it's going to be like this forever. New York will never, of course, then the 90s happened and it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, Mr.
so.
Brown moved in the 90s and
I
fixed
was in the
everything.
90s.
Exactly.
He and,
single-handedly.
Yeah, he
He
fixed it. He
Giuliani
fixed it.
turned that city around.
But the yogurt was not fat free.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And I dated a girl whose dad was like 2 years older than me, so it was okay.
I recall you telling me about
was that the one with the Little
Tinkerbell?
Mermaid stuff?
Tinkerbell.
Not
Tinker-
Little
Tinker-
Mermaid. I was her Peter Pan. Oh, it's got hot in here suddenly.
He never wanted to grow up.
Hee hee.
But yeah, so it could happen.
Ah, yes, I won the episode.
Well done. That just made me
Shimon.
that just made me like shriek laugh. Well done. But yeah, so I do remember that. You told us about that, I think, on your Death Race 2000 episode, how she had Tinkerbell accoutrement in her birthday, her bedroom. I was going with like a Tinkerbell birthday theme, but it wasn't a birthday party.
That was back whenever Mr. Brown briefly moonlighted as an unlicensed Disney character.
Yes.
Running around in tights with a little dagger.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
No, it was shocking. It was a little strange, but I got over it quickly.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Did ya?
You
wonder how.
You soldiered on.
He didn't get over it. He got over her.
Yeah.
Through,
Yeah. Just think of England.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. But
So I guess to answer that question, yes, it could happen. Faye
Okay.
Dunaway, Faye
no, I'm not
Dunaway
saying it couldn't happen. You guys were asking me if
Happens
he's
frequently.
even attractive. Not that. 'cause
Well, so the
younger
thing
women go for
is-
older men all the time.
Oh, this performance right here.
That's fantastic.
This
Peter Finch.
soaking wet, mad-eyed.
You've just been walking the streets of New York in the pouring rain.
Yeah,
He walked across
yeah.
110th Street.
Okay.
Well played.
Yeah, that was good.
Well played.
Who sang it?
I don't know.
Wait, don't tell me. Do you know?
I do know.
Oh, then hold that thought.
I
It'll
will.
come
Yeah,
to me.
I will.
I don't know.
The girls.
Bobby.
110th. Bobby.
It's a very. I don't know why, but he reminds me in this scene, in this "I'm mad as hell" the scene in the movie. I get a very Arlie Ermy vibe.
I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bobby Womack.
Bobby Womack.
Across 110th Street in New York City. And by the way, that's where my apartment is, right across 110th Street.
I know.
So when you walk from 109th to 110th and cross over that street, we will hum that song together.
Oh, you have to. I think legally you have to.
Yes,
It's
you
11 up and 1 over, you simple bitch. But, yeah.
And I can't take it anymore.
I'm angry as heck, and I shall not take it anymore.
Yeah. And they just let him hang himself on public television. There's even a line where they're like, if this is how he wants to go out, F it, let him. They
But
don't.
it's so, just the way they film this is so good. I mean, it's.
And she is beside herself.
Oh, she's loving it.
Oh, she's
The
loving the
ratings
sensationalism.
through the
Yeah.
roof.
You could drown a puppy in her pants.
Docs and
A
puppies.
dots and puppies. Damn it, I almost had it. Damn.
Sploosh. I mean, that's the thing, though, is that Faye Dunaway's character, she takes a job. She even has a speech about it where she's like, I took a job where this place is in the ratings basement, and it's her singular mission to do every and anything that it takes, and anyone that it takes, in order to boost the ratings. That she just does not care who she sacrifices in the meantime. She doesn't care whose life she ruins.
Well, yeah, and that was a very.
We're not gonna take it. This could be a music video. I'm not gonna take it anymore.
I listened to that yesterday.
What was the lead singer's name of that band?
I don't know.
Dee Snider.
Snider.
I would.
What was
not
the
have-
band?
Oh, I'm blanking now. Shit.
Twisted Sister.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that a Twisted Sister
Yeah.
pin on your uniform?
That's like the only Twisted Sister song I even know. Like it. Yeah, name another one.
Yeah, forget it. Forget it.
Precisely.
They're one and done.
I almost said School's Out for Summer, but that was Alice Cooper. Wait, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Alice
Listen
Cooper.
to the Cooper Woman.
Damn.
Sorry.
I know they had other songs.
I'll look them up.
But anyway, we were going down an interesting road, and then we jumped tracks to talk about Twisted Sister.
We were talking about whether or not Schumacher was attractive, and then we moved on to the sensationalism. But I don't know. I don't personally find Schumacher all that handsome.
Also, back in the 70s, every flight from everywhere to everywhere else was on a fucking 747. Every movie, it was always a 747. I literally didn't fly on a 747 until I was late 30s, I think. I flew on everything else, not a 747.
One thing's different about flying in the 70s. The pilots actually landed the planes back then.
Yeah.
And they would
And they were
bounce
smoking in the
and
cockpit.
and bounce and the cockpit door was open.
Oh, yeah.
You could go visit the pilots.
Yeah, and they had the blow-up dolls, like
Yeah.
an airplane. Okay, some other songs by Twisted Sister. I Wanna Rock.
I wanna rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Price.
That one's not.
Burn in Hell.
Damn.
The Kids Are Back.
They made money, I guess, but
who knows?
we
but
don't remember.
Yeah,
We're not going to take it was an Iron Eagle, so
Yeah,
that's why people know what it is.
yeah.
And that and the Dave Chappelle bit about getting beaten up by a policeman. Meanwhile, We're Not Gonna Take It is playing on the radio.
So let's talk about Faye Dunaway's full-on transition into having absolutely no morals.
She didn't start with any morals. She did.
Well, no, you're right. You're right. Maybe it's just a
everything she did
manifestation.
Was calculated. It was cold. She, like I said, she
she's
did
definitely
not.
got father issues.
Does she have an arc? What is her arc? Where does she end up?
Why don't you tell us
In
what
Oblivion,
happens?
I think.
Yeah, I think she ends up just.
So, spoiler alert, tell the hindsighters how the movie ends, because we're not going to make it all the way through this 2-hour movie. What happens to her that you can see, and then tell us how you interpret it.
Well, she has a relationship with William Holden, Max Schumacher, and it pretty much just becomes a 3-act TV show. I wonder where she's going on this, but with her, she becomes so focused on ratings that human life matters not.
Yeah, she literally starts a show called the Mao Zedong Hour,
Right.
hosted by who? A terrorist group.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have real
Well,
films.
and this is
Yeah.
where you see that sort of incubation process where she's coming up with it, because she's talking about focusing on political terrorists.
Yeah,
for ratings.
yeah, for ratings.
It's from
Yeah.
ratings and money.
And she sells it like, I'm offering you an hour to get your message out there, blah, blah, blah. Really, I want to package an hour of violence that I can call news, or I can put that sort of, blessing that there's an important reason that we should show this.
Because she
and
says it's better than handing out pamphlets on ghetto street corners.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
she's fully taking advantage of this black woman who she's pretending to promote and help, but she's not. She's completely manipulating.
Oh yeah,
everybody
it's all
around
about
her at every turn.
putting gore and blood on TV.
But in the very end, the black woman morphs into her almost. All she cares about is the ratings, and she's tired
Well, because
of...
she sees the effect of it. Because Faye Dunaway isn't wrong. The people are reacting to the material that she's featuring on television. That's the problem, is that people are investing in it as opposed to being appalled by it.
They're at the Kent's house.
Superman flies in from
Superman's
the corner.
next door. He's out in a cornfield. Not John Huston. Crap. Who played his dad in the movie?
John Ford.
John Ford.
John Ford.
Yeah, he's having a heart attack.
I love
remember that.
I love the obvious product placement of KFC.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That there's a product placement with the terrorists.
Yeah, and KFC of all things, like I don't remember seeing them in anything but their own advertisements. Like, nobody's ever eating KFC. Like, somebody think
Kentucky
of an
Fried
example.
Movie. Oh no. Yeah.
Like,
Hang on a second, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's getting a phone call.
our co-host cannot get it together.
I'm sorry.
If this was live,
that was
we'd
my-
be screwed right now.
That was
Mr.
my
Brown.
alarm to take out the dog. I'll be home soon, Tessie. Don't you worry if you're listening right now.
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna
But-
take it out?
My dog.
Oh, like for a walk?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant like extreme prejudice.
With a vengeance.
Where is your mind? Violent.
On
We're
sensationalism.
mad as hell, and we're not going to
Can't
take
take it anymore.
But I think of this film, and there was the corporate executive. This is something I need to talk about a little bit. The corporate executive gives Howard Beale a talking to, which has a dramatic effect on him, and he essentially begins to espouse the thoughts and beliefs of this corporate executive, that we're led by corporations. We don't have any mind anymore. They have total control. The corporate executive likes that. He wants to keep Beale on no matter what. As far the ratings are diving, but the corporate executive doesn't, because it's the truth, right?
Well, no, because what does Faye Dunaway say? Don't worry about the truth. I'll put the words in your mouth.
But the exec, though,
But the executive,
But they're all falling victim to this, where, I don't know.
well, it's a religion thing. The executive imparts his religious beliefs.
yes,
Yeah.
and Howard Beale is following
Yeah.
in his footsteps,
Yeah.
which is okay. He cares not about the ratings.
No.
Whereas Faye Dunaway and Robert Duvall are so laser focused on the ratings and the money making that they make a decision.
Well, and also the name of the show, Vox Populi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what does that? There's a hidden meaning there. There's got to be.
Vox Populi means voice of the people.
Oh,
but
I didn't know that.
There's an old it's half of an expression. I don't remember who or how far back it goes. I don't know if it goes back to Charlemagne or who, but the expression is Vox Populi, Vox Deo. The voice of the people is the voice of God.
Baxter, you know I don't speak Spanish.
Interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what it meant was the popes, basically, the crafty popes, would understand the voice of the people is the voice of God. So I'm going to listen to what they're saying, and I want to stay
and mirror it.
And I'm going to mirror right back to them, but as the voice of God. And so it's interesting when the show is called Vox Populi and it leaves off the other half. It's sort of like it's a religious thing,
right?
You know, right. It's trying to. Well, I mean, he's a preacher. He's doing a Southern Baptist revival. He's a televangelist at this point.
You get a Bible, and you get a Bible.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a Bible.
Which did you guys grow up with those?
No.
Like,
with what?
Televangelists.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you're from the South.
I'm from
you're
the
from the
South.
South.
So,
So,
yeah.
I mean, not that we watched it, but you knew. But you know, they were.
Well, they had kind of a crummy reputation. You just, like even before you really revealed the truth about their $1 million planes and
the Jimmy
houses.
Swaggarts.
And that Joel Osteen.
I know.
Dude, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the news, isn't he?
But there's people that love him.
Isn't he one of the guys who just went into space?
No, that was Jeff Osteen Bezos.
Did you see Tulsi Gabbard? I love Tulsi. She tweeted, "Dear Jeff, do the world a favor. Don't come back."
No. You're the Mr. Potter of our world anyway, sir.
Yeah, I love that he thanked all of the people who make like $20,000 a year for paying for his flight into space.
That was heartbreaking, wasn't it?
Jesus Christ.
It's like, think about what you're about to say before you say it's true.
Yeah.
But don't say it.
Yeah, read the room, man.
Yeah,
read the room.
My friend Blair
Vox
said something
Populi.
about that on Facebook. He was like, were we really all that invested, or is it more just the fact that we got like a giant middle finger to all of us because we made this man rich enough to go into space
on a giant penis? Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, he flew on a penis into space. And
don't we all?
But tell me, Amazon, it's an addiction. It's hard habit to break.
What is?
Yeah, I know.
Penis-shaped rockets?
One,
yes. But two, just Amazon. It's like, try not to want something.
The convenience of it is amazing.
It's not even just convenience. I mean, the stuff that we have in our studio, the gear that we have. Yeah. There are other places that sell it.
Yeah.
But there aren't that many places that sell all of it.
In one, it's one-stop shopping.
And have it delivered in a day and a half.
A day and a half,
I know.
Yep. Make your dogs apoplectic with the ringing of the doorbell. That's the only inconvenience of Amazon. Yeah. If they even ring the doorbell, most of them don't anymore. They just they text your phone or they notify you on your account and just dings on your phone.
Yeah, I don't want them to ring my doorbell.
No, me neither.
Yeah, because my dog will go apeshit.
Yeah. So
we are actually at our second break.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are going to be back in about 1 second. We're back, and we're discussing Naked Faye Dunaway.
Yes.
So, Jason, you don't seem all that thrilled about Naked Faye Dunaway.
What just happened on screen here? Just fill in our hindsighters.
Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway is making love to an older gentleman, and
he just blammed.
Ouch.
She blamed too, unless she faked it.
She blamed first, and then
women never fake it. What are you talking about? I know that's something you have to repeat to yourselves all the time, gentlemen, but just gentlemen in general.
Is Faye Dunaway hot?
Yes, that was my question to you.
I mean, it's 1976, so it's kind of a sliding scale. I mean, let's be honest. Hairstyles and clothing were,
well, okay,
not ideal.
But then
there are a lot of other 70s actresses that are
Stephanie Powers.
Oh yeah,
we were talking
about
Margaret.
Oh, fucking hell, Anne Margaret.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy hot.
So what is
Anne Margaret's still a looker.
Oh my God! Yes.
I mean, yeah,
like I said, the older you
she's
get,
she's
the
like
more
Jane
your spectrum-
Seymour.
Yes.
Yeah, Jane Seymour. Jane Seymour and Julia Louis-Dreyfus have that gene where they age backwards.
Oh, I know.
Seriously,
it's
Julia
weird.
Louis-Dreyfus looks younger than I do.
No, it's weird.
And she's got at
She's
least
gotta be like
25 years
50,
on me.
right?
She's older. We did that the other day. We asked. We looked up to see
Julia,
how old.
You're stunning.
I'm looking it up. Anne Margaret. Okay, I don't
Anne
really
Margaret's
see it.
probably 80.
Yeah, she's
No, I'm not talking about age. I'm saying I don't.
Oh no,
necessarily agree
Anne
on-
Margaret was
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is 60 years
60.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
Look up Kramer. Look up how old Michael Rich. This will blow
Michael
your
Richards. Yeah, because
afraid.
he was the oldest one.
mind. He was the oldest one. He's like.
Because even though George was the bald one and the
Well, Jerry is almost.
Yeah, he's
Jerry's in his 60s
Yeah, he's
now.
Yeah.
Michael Richards is 71.
71. Michael Richards is 71.
Jerry Seinfeld.
I know, right? That does not seem right, does it?
No,
it
it
can't
doesn't.
be. He
Does
can't
not
be
commute.
71.
That doesn't compute much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no.
because Seinfeld is 67.
67. I know. This is what happened the other day.
Jason Alexander, I
We
think,
watched-
is actually the youngest one, unless I'm mistaken.
I think he is.
Let's see. He just
Yeah,
had
we
the
watched,
misfortune of going bald early in life.
yeah, we
Yeah,
watched.
he's 61.
61. Okay.
Yeah, he's the youngest.
We watched all of Seinfeld.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the youngest at
Okay,
60,
all right.
so Jason Alexander's a year older.
We watched all of Seinfeld in the weeks leading up before they lost it, before Hulu lost it.
Yes, I didn't get to finish it, and I was so
Yeah, we got to the end of season 7.
I think I got to the end of 4,
Yeah.
beginning of 5, because it all runs together when you stream.
Which was great
so.
because it's great watching that with your kid and he's laughing his ass off and it's like, oh, there's
It
still
came
some
full circle.
continuity.
He's got good genes.
Yeah,
Thank God
yeah.
they stuck. Like that's why I'm rushing through Frasier because I never got to finish Frasier because it was
Frasier
on-
kind of petered towards the end.
Well, don't
my-
tell me that. I won't.
Well,
I love Niles so much. He's
everybody loves Niles.
What David Hyde
Yeah.
Pierce makes such a career out of being such an obviously gay man
If you-
playing a straight guy.
If you ever want to see a great David Hyde Pierce movie, it's called like The Guest, I think.
See, I love him in Down
And
with
Is
Love.
it a horror film?
He plays a
sounds
killer.
horror.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
it's really good.
Oh, that
It's-
sounds awesome.
it's really, really good.
This is a compliment, David Hyde Pierce, because I know you're listening.
Is this another man you would let kill you?
No. Only Mel Gibson's allowed to kill me, and it has to be with his thighs. That's in my writer.
Yeah.
But anyway, David Hyde Pierce, I could really see him being a convincing killer. He's just so. Oh, he could be menacing on a really great level.
I don't.
I love David.
Yeah, I
Hyde
don't remember
Pierce.
the name of it. I think it was The Guest. I think that's what it was called. But yeah, it's
I'll look it up because I love him. But
yeah, it's a really good movie.
I adored him in Down with Love because once again, he and his significant other in the movie are both gay in real life, and they spend the entire movie spiraling around each other, and they wind up together. It's really cute. It's an adorable movie if you haven't seen it.
It's interesting in this scene where Holden is talking about, oh, she's television. She was raised on Bugs Bunny. So like, ergo, she's warped. And then you think, holy crap, dude. If you were alive today,
You would have blown your brains out on television.
because have you ever heard of this thing called TikTok where kids just watch like 30 fucking seconds?
Oh, I can't.
And then it just goes to the next thing
And-
and then to the next thing.
It's not much better than YouTube, and
Yeah.
It's worse than YouTube.
It's worse than YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing because it's just I don't really invest much in TikTok, but I hear somehow that's how a lot of bullying happens in the
Yeah.
cyber world. How though? Like,
Well,
how do you bully somebody on TikTok?
Well, your people are constantly posting because the videos are so short. People will just rattle off videos. So you'll have kids who will literally just put the phone up there.
Like, F you, Stacy.
Yeah,
or,
and they'll
"You suck,
just
Benjamin."
they'll
Like,
totally rag on somebody they know, and then it's out there.
oh,
Yeah.
and you don't have the
Yeah.
Facebook moderators to take it off.
Which,
Or the
which,
TikTok
by the way,
moderators.
we'll bring
Yeah,
up.
give a shout out
let's
to your
talk a little
friends.
bit. So Louis Magruder, a friend of mine who's a producer and a director, and also another Penn State graduate. And a funny story, we worked together at Bear Stearns when we were struggling in the business in New York City.
Doing cocaine in the boom boom room.
Yes, of course.
This bathroom's great for doing coke in.
But the funniest thing is he had a featured article in our Penn State periodical called the Penn Stater.
There's Lance
Okay.
Hendricks.
Where?
Hang on, he was just there. He's sitting in the room. Sorry, I'll point again whenever it comes up.
Oh, but that is
Continue your story though.
That's a moment though, Jason, where you're talking about Faye Dunaway
She's
manipulating.
paying William Morris
Don't
10%.
Don't F with my distribution costs. Like the women in this movie.
Well, she's devolved to to Faye Dunaway.
Yeah.
Because it's all about money now.
Exactly.
not
So
about-
continue your story about
just
your
a
friend.
quick story. It's kind of entertaining. So,
Lance Hendricks.
Yep, there he is.
There he is. Yeah,
there he
good call.
is. Oh,
Stop interrupting.
Sorry. Well, he came up. It was right there.
I had to see Lance
Yeah, yeah.
Hendricks. He's young and beautiful then. So I'm sitting at the front desk with Lewis, and I are both working, and I get a phone call from my mom.
Working.
And she said, I was just reading the Penn Stater, because she used to get a copy of it too. And I read an article about this guy, Louis Magruder, who's an up-and-coming director. Maybe you should get in touch with him and see
Wow.
if you could work together.
Oh, Miss
And
Barb.
maybe he can help your career. And I said, hold on a second. Hey, Louis, are you going to be able to help my career at all? He's like, no, Adam, I don't think so. I'm like, okay, Barbie's sitting right here. And he says, he broke the news to me. He's just not going to be able to.
We love Miss Barb.
We're going
We
a different
sure do.
direction. I'm sorry.
But the point is we
Well,
had.
he acted up in, Towering Inferno, and
Yes.
that's why.
But Lewis invited me to a reading of a play that his Broad Horizons is working on, and I invited both of you. You couldn't make it, but Jade listened to it, and she was a brilliant contributor to the playwright's looking for ways to improve.
Oh,
the writing.
you actually gave your feedback.
He gave a lot of feedback.
They asked for it from the entire audience, and the play I can't.
You gave them notes?
Yes.
No, not notes.
kidding, I'm kidding.
I actually gave them a lot of praise. The author of the play was fantastic. He did a great job. Like it was very network, and I mean this as a compliment, even though these are very mainstream examples, but it was like 1984 meets The Matrix meets The Hunger Games. And it's about internet moderators, and one of them is slowly descending into madness, and it's just from the material that they see. And even the writer, he expressed how he had to go to the darker side of the internet to do proper research for this play. It was so well done, and it pulled you in.
There's a dark side of the internet?
The dark web, they call
The
it.
dark web, yes.
But the end, the guy, shot himself.
Yeah, so it's actually rather
And
relevant to the
yeah,
situation.
He was moderated out because he broadcast it.
He streamed it live, and we don't need to spoil the rest of it. But that is the ending.
That is something that has crossed my mind before. Given the fact that you can do stuff live, it seems like that would happen a lot more.
Well,
Or does it, and we just don't hear about it?
well, and one thing that happens too is that, and that's the reason why Snapchat.
You
was,
love me.
You really love me. Have fun tapping that hot Faye Dunaway ass. But anyway, the one thing that made Snapchat so marketable as just a mainstream social media source is that, your message disappeared.
Yeah.
No, if somebody knows how to screenshot what you did on their phone, no, it doesn't disappear.
Yeah, hey,
Nothing
sorry.
disappears.
Hey, NSA, you're not saving this, are you? No, we're not.
Not at all.
Are we rolling?
Go
Wait,
on.
we were recording this
Go
whole
on.
time?
Go on.
Oh, shit. But yeah, so it just, it was a brilliant play, and anybody, once the
Remember
show...
those Coca-Cola bottles? Sorry. The styrofoam,
Oh, yes.
and you'd like peel it off.
Yes.
Yeah, you had to peel it
That
off.
was the 70s.
Y'all are adorable. Were either of you old enough to peel off styrofoam?
And then
you couldn't have been that dexterous.
the ozone got just a little bit thinner.
And your dad would mix it with some Cutty Sark.
Now future generations are going to be wearing SPF 1 million because we destroyed the planet with styrofoam.
No, they did that in Highlander too. It doesn't work out.
Oh, okay. That's a bummer. But anyway, yeah, here comes Robert Duvall. He's wearing a tux for most of this movie, and
He's got to go talk to one of the Corleones.
he and Sonny need to have a conversation about cannolis and guns. I don't know, but anyway, Robert Duvall. I have to say this: his appearance is not amplified by a tuxedo. Some men you put him in it's
He's not James Bond.
no. And that's not that Robert Duvall is a distinguished looking man. He's not my cup of tea personally, but like some men you can put them in suits or tuxes, and it's Once again, God. Well,
but you don't have the frills.
Yes.
So you gotta have the frilly tuxedo.
He's wearing the Seinfeld shirt, the
puffy shirt.
The puffy shirt. He's wearing it underneath.
Well, that was big in the 70s.
Yeah, you look like a pirate.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a pirate. Look at the size of that bow tie.
And that
huge.
bow tie is comical.
And people got laid wearing that.
Well,
it's
of course.
so weird.
Well,
so weird.
some suits used to be like gold and burgundy. So no.
That's actually probably a very restrained. Give me the most understated tuxedo you have.
That's why Will Ferrell in that Ron Burgundy suit, because Will Ferrell was in town for the Final Four several years ago, and my dad was at the same game, and Will Ferrell showed up to the Final Four game dressed like Ron Burgundy in that full suit with the hair and the mustache and everything. And I was like, God, this was once considered stylish. And that was going to be my question, because that was part of your reasoning behind Faye Dunaway, like the hair and the way she's dressed, like maybe that was a turnoff. But it is a woman's style ever a turnoff when something's popular? Like, have you ever actively hated it when it was popular, or did you just look back and say, God, I don't know how I ever found her attractive?
Well, I do nowadays a lot.
Well, so like shoulder pads, were you actively against shoulder pads when they were popular? Because for women who actually have shoulders like myself, if I wore shoulder pads, I'd look like a damn linebacker. Like I can't pull those off.
When shoulder pads were popular,
Does anybody want
women,
coffee?
The women I was drooling over, I don't think were wearing them.
See, I think that's the thing,
Well,
though.
they're wearing her 15 minutes before you start drooling. But
But
I don't think men care at all about what women are wearing.
or see,
I don't know.
see?
I disagree. I disagree. I
Because, like, I've heard you flip out on certain episodes, Jason, where you're like, oh, my God, those sundresses from the 90s. Those.
the 90s.
Like Courtney Cox and Ace Ventura.
The 90s for me, that was when my brain, it's like it's liquid, and then all of a sudden it gels into a solid state. Well, the 90s was when that happened for me.
Okay,
So
what was an era of fashion that you appreciated about women, Mr. Brown?
Like I said, I was not that discriminating. if a woman paid
He was far too
attention to
desperate
me,
to be that discerning.
she could be dressed in robes. She could be dressed in a Halston dress.
Well, TV.
Yes.
TV. You're watching chicks on TV.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were about talking
No. No. You're flipping through the channels. You watch a movie.
Oh goodness. You know what? I never really thought about that. I may have to get back to you. I don't know. I did like. I thought shoulder pads were kind of interesting.
They're not bad.
Interesting.
They're right.
how?
I don't know. I'm a product of the '80s. I loved the shoulder pads. I love the
The angle. Oh, because I actually see
Don Johnson.
I think I see where you're going with that, because that also showed, like, especially if a woman has
It was like
the hourglass.
The hourglass design. You had the big shoulder pads, and it was out. And
Okay.
So this is very much like Network.
Yes. Where Faye Dunaway doesn't wear a bra the entire time. My God. Let's just go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah. Well, again,
I know.
70s.
Yeah.
But you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
All the bras had been burned by then.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the twist ending. Kind of it's a twist.
It's titular.
Yeah. I mean,
I wasn't even going for
like
it.
boobs.
Yes, Ted, that was the joke. Anyway,
So what happens?
tell us, Mr. Brown.
Well, what happens is you've got the senior exec, as I said before, who supports what he's doing, but it's killing the ratings. And Robert Duvall and Diana are all about the ratings. So they get their group together, and they happen to employ a group of terrorists for their crazy show. Mm-hmm. And they just say, let's just kill Howard Beale right on television. Mm-hmm. It'll be a boon for ratings, and it'll get him off the air, because the senior executive was not going to remove him. So they bring in a guy with, I believe it was like a Colt 6-shooter and a MAC-10. And they don't even give him a chance to say almost anything. He walks right out, and they just literally gun him down. And the line at the end is classic. It's like Howard Beale.
Tell us.
The first man to be ever killed due to bad ratings.
And that's it.
And
that's the movie.
Oh, it's such a
It's chilling.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, it's ultimately it just demonstrates, it's sort of like what you were saying, how there used to be that firewall between the money-making side of the business and the news. And as soon as that's gone,
if you're not making money, you're out.
You're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You exist at this company while you're making money. And if you're not making me money, because, you know, the reality is I can get somebody else. And if they don't work out, I fire them too.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's that.
Until you find Brandon Tartikoff.
But I mean, and maybe that's part of what's not only helped devolve the current generation. It's not just the ratings industry where this applies anymore. Everyone is so quote unquote replaceable.
Yeah.
That
the measure
company loyalty isn't really a thing anymore.
It's not.
Because so like workers aren't given benefits. They, you know, if they're working for too little to make their ends meet, and it's everywhere. It's not just the ratings that they're based on, and that's every industry.
One thing that's very important is back then it was the Nielsen ratings. They had little things attached to certain people's television set to measure the ratings, and that was
Peter, you messed up television for all the cohog.
Right. And that was the worth of a television show. But now we've devolved to a point where the worth of a human being is how many likes they get. And by the way, podcasters, if you're watching, please subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe.
And like and subscribe our show.
Well, but you know, but that's
hit the button.
But that's
ring
one of the
bell,
weird things.
But
though.
only if we make you LOL.
But that's one of the weird things is that if you're in the YouTube environment or the podcasting environment, you can look at likes, views, subscribers, downloads, and because everything's sort of channeled towards one product, you can kind of tell. Okay, I know how popular we are. I know how whatever. You look at things like Netflix, where they literally don't have the ability to tell, if we invest $1 into this, how can I tell if I'm getting money back from it? Because if they start a new show, they buy a season of a show, they put it on Netflix. There's no real way for them to tell how much money they got back out of that. They can tell how many people watched it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you've already got an account, you're already paying every month.
It's not how they used to be able to do the ratings, like, 10 billion people, tuned in for this finale of Friends or Frasier or Cheers.
You can tell how many people watched it, but the thing is, back then, if 10 billion people were tuning in, you made money because that's how you set your ad prices.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like they had a measurable quality to it. So now people put something on streaming in their queue, as it were, and then there's even almost, what am I trying to say? There's like a reversal to it, because someone will say, oh, the fear of choice actually messes up that whole measurement system, because I've heard so many jokes about like, oh, you go on Netflix, this is how you decide to find something new to watch. You scroll through all the options for 30 minutes and then you rewatch The Office for the 10th time.
No, and that's I do that so many times. I will go through and I'll look at all these things I haven't seen. And fuck it, I just watched something I've seen already.
And curiosity used to be part of the media. Like it used to be kind of like what we've said. Oh, this is the new Kevin Costner picture. I don't even know what it's about, but I'm going to go see it because Kevin Costner's in it, and he would make a certain amount of money based on name recognition. But the measurement system has completely changed. So you're right, Jason. There's not really a way for them to know what's popular and what isn't. I guess they have to go by how often it's viewed and whether or not it's worth contracting the show again.
Speaking of Netflix, though, did you hear their recent earnings call? They announced they lost 500,000.
Yeah.
500,000 subscribers.
How? Why?
People are getting out.
Netflix hasn't really been good in a while.
I kind of agree. There are very few shows on there anymore. Like all the John Mulaney's are on there, so of course I pay attention.
Yeah, but you watch those and then you're done.
In Gilmore Girls, you're right. And I don't really go on there to discover new things. Like a lot of the things that I got Netflix for in the first place, Scrubs, Bob's Burgers, so many shows, they're being taken over by different
Hulu
streaming
and
services.
Things,
yeah, exactly. Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime seems to be more willing to play ball because they used to be the most expensive of all the services.
Yeah.
But then they started realizing, if we made certain popular things free, maybe that's the way to go.
They have the brilliant. I love the fact that if you like, I love Top Gear and I love shows like Top Gear.
Are you watching
Clarkson's Farm?
Yeah.
I've been saving it for when I have some time to sit and just watch.
when you're not distracted by anything else? Got it.
No, but like with Prime, you can subscribe to a channel. So if you like stupid ghost shows,
Which you do.
Yeah, I do. They're garbage. I love them. But you can pay like $2 extra a month and just get like the travel or Destination America or Discovery Plus. And you watch what you want to watch for a few months. You see all the stuff that they have that you like, cancel it.
Yeah, because
and you add Motor Trend and you watch car shows.
Yep, you get the free subscription for a while, and that what's really pissing off so many streamers is that, like, they're taking away the shows that we love. The Office used to be on Netflix, and now who is it? NBC has their own
Peacock.
Nobody's
watching it.
It's too expensive in my personal opinion, and then the free version you have to put up with ads, which I think I'm one of the last generations that can even deal with that, because I grew up with regular cable where you took your bathroom break.
I can't handle
ads.
it.
Like I don't care for it, and
I haven't watched commercials since 2002.
They used to be,
because that's when I got my first TiVo.
Yeah. They used to be a point of convenience because that's when you took your bathroom breaks. That's when you went and refilled your drink, whatever. But now they're just a complete nuisance.
Well, there's another side of it too, which is the fact that nowadays it's hard for people to suggest new shows to you. Because in the old days, there's nothing on. What the hell is this? I'll watch it. Now I love it. It's a great show. It's part of my life now.
And when people tell you to watch things now, you're a contrarian, so you're just like,
I just automatically.
No, I mean, and it depends on how much hype is involved with something for me. So I'm not a contrarian, but like Finding Nemo, there were too many people who said it was the best movie they've ever seen, and I was like, this can't be true.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's high praise for Finding Nemo.
It was the biggest Pixar movie of its time at the time. I was in high school when it came out. I finally was forced to watch it in Spanish class in Spanish, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not getting out of this, and so I have to watch this damn movie. But it was a fine
good.
movie. It's fine.
What was it called in Spanish? Encuentra Nemo? Encuentra Nemo.
Bueno. But it was good. And
it was actually called Muy Importante.
Willem Dafoe. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So when I hear that too many people like something and there's not a single person out there giving it a negative review, I'm like, it can't be that good.
No way.
With freaking Frozen. I only watched it because one of my best friends, Cece's little girl, we were watching, it was on in the background at one of her birthday parties. And
I liked it. It was all right.
Well, she was, Aurelia was singing along to the songs, and I was like, Miss Jade's never seen this movie before. And she was like,
What?
She threw me so much shade for a 3-year-old. It was insane. Like, yeah. No, it was, and we're talking about the same little girl whose brother came up to her and was like, Aurelia, you want to fight? You want to fight? And she goes, go back over there. And I was like, you little wall buster. But so the point that I'm trying to make is that, like, if it's too popular, I'm usually not going to jump on board. But that
and you can't even, and the popularity is fake. Because
are you drunk?
Because no, I wish. Because that's like with the Picard series, which was horseshit.
Yeah, I was disappointed as hell when you said that.
Yeah,
because I wanted to watch it.
But there were so many. Somebody pointed this out. Like when they did the finale episode, they started looking at tweets that were all from different people, and there were so many grammatical similarities that, it's like, we're not accusing CBS of just buying bots.
They were putting the truth in people's mouths.
It's completely fake. People were not going crazy over it.
No, of course not. Like it. So I agree with you in that sense, Jason. People just, they want to watch what and there's a psychological study that's been done on that. Part of the reason why people go back to familiar programming is because it's a sense of security. So when I watch The Office over and over again, or Gilmore Girls over and over again, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know which episodes, if I'm an episode skipper, like I know which ones I want to skip because they upset me, or I don't want to see Rory and Dean break up this time, or whatever.
Well, and you don't have to wonder what's happening. You can just dedicate enough of your brain
exactly
to
you
relax.
Can play a video game or something on your phone while you just.
So we are coming up towards the end.
We are
for Mr. Beale as well.
Yeah, the actual end. Fade down away. Yellow's not your color.
If you're watching this podcast, just watch Network. It's a great movie. A masterpiece.
That's why we've been talking about so many other things, because there's nothing really to critique about this movie. We can't. True that.
You can see also, by the way, how the lighting is getting flatter.
Yeah.
And the camera isn't moving as much, and it's the framing gets very, very standard.
Right.
Like almost like a TV movie. But anyway, so we are at the end of our program.
Mm-hmm.
Darth, would you?
Yeah, take us home, Darth.
Absolutely. Well, I've Alf to Seinfeld, straight 5 for me, because Mr. Brown suggesting it was the first time I watched it.
7 or an 8.
Yeah, it was an 8 for me. Only because when I first saw it, I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was, yeah.
Well, because you don't live in the world of stats and ratings like when you're a single-digit kid.
Yeah. And then this time I was, it's just like, oh no. It was...
You get it now.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah.
And how the superficiality of not only the network, but sometimes life in general can be very superficial.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I would say, an 8 for me also.
I'm saying 8.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
8 plus 8 plus 5 equals 9.5. So I think that we did really well.
Excellent.
Wait.
that math doesn't add up, but you know what?
It gets a 7. Right?
I don't know.
It's
I was an English
It's a
major.
7. It's a 7.
You want good words? Data languager. I'm not a mather. But anyway, hindsighters, we truly appreciate you joining us, and trolls especially, for your drive time, your listening time, your spewing vitriol over the internet time.
Drivel!
This has been Jason, Darth, and Adam with Network on Hindsight is Horrifying. This is Hindsight, and good night.